honestly, it would be way easier for me to make a video on things that I don't like about New York. And I think a lot of people do make those kind of videos, but today we're going to focus on the positive. I owe it to myself and my experience here and to New York City to touch on the good first. Let's focus on the good because so many of you are moving here, if not already here at this point. I think a lot of these things are what you wouldn't normally expect as well, because I know there are a lot of these videos out there. So, oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Chelsea, and I make New York lifestyle videos, some vlogs, actually quite a few vlogs, and then advice videos on moving to New York. If that's something that you're interested in, make sure to click that subscribe button. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get into it. I think these are really going to be a range of like silly and really deep. A good mixture. So the first one I brought, I'll just go in order. I was drafting this video sitting on the subway, and so they're all over the place. And that's the vibe, so we're gonna roll with it. One of my favorite things about living in New York City is the fact that no one talks to you on the subway. No one bothers you. Everyone just minds their own business. And if you're not minding your own business, you should aspire to mind your own business. People don't ride the subway because they want to. They ride it because they don't have money for Ubers and money for a car, because that shit's really expensive. So we all just kind of pretend that we're on our way to work by ourselves. And I really like that. Oh my God, shut up. The next favorite thing about living in New York is that networking is everywhere. The second you step out of your door, you're networking. The second you meet somebody, like your neighbors on your apartment building floor, technically networking. And I am really passionate about this one because my mom doesn't shut up about networking. I'm sorry, Mom, I had to put that out there, but she's right, is what I'm getting at. Honestly, though, like when you build a relationship with somebody, you shouldn't build it upon the foundation that you're going to get something out of it, like you're going to get a job out of it. But it could happen. I think the point for like getting your foot in the door is just picking a door. It doesn't have to be the door that you want. Go on Craigslist, pick a job, and then you'll meet people, and those people will meet people. And then the goal is, like, if you ever need a job, you won't actually have to go searching. You can just call someone up and be like, hey, is this place hiring? And then you got it. I like the fact that there are so many of those kind of opportunities here, where you don't always have to go to Craigslist for a new opportunity. You can just know people. If my friends ever came to me and was like, do you know of anyone hiring? I wouldn't take that as, oh, they're using me. I would take that as, oh, that's smart. And maybe I do know somebody, and I know they're not using me for connections, you know? So as long as you keep that genuine vibe, hell yeah. I love that everybody knows everybody. It can be like a bit of a downfall that everybody knows everybody, because if you burn one bridge, you kind of burn a lot more with it. So just keep that in mind. The next thing is kind of an obvious one, sorry, but it's the energy. And I couldn't make this video without putting this in. The energy of New York is infectious. Just when you think you couldn't be more depressed and you can't leave the house, the next day you like get re-inspired by the city itself. And even though, you know, when you put a magnifying glass on New York City, it's dirty, it's gross. I don't know why people live here, but there's a beauty to it, and all it takes is like one Lyft ride up the West Side Highway in the dark. I'm talking just a good view. If you get like a good view of New York, that's all it takes to get re-inspired. The daytime energy is pretty chaotic and depressed, but the second it's like 5 o'clock, the first wave of people are getting off of work, and the city, you can just kind of feel it, you know? The vibe going to work is, and riding the subway is like a lot different than riding the subway like after hours. 11 to 3 a.m. also really popping. And you can just tell, like on a Friday or Saturday night or industry night or whatever, you know, people want to be out, especially now with COVID, with the restrictions lifting. I'm not saying the pandemic's over by any means. It's definitely not over, but the restrictions are lifting. And if you're vaccinated, you have a lot of opportunities to go out now, which is really exciting. So all of you coming here are just in for a great time. The city's really coming back. I couldn't be more happy. I could not make one more depressed pandemic vlog. And I really didn't make that many, but I couldn't. The next favorite part about living here is that this is a great place to live if you want people to visit you. No matter what, there are places people can stay if they can't stay with you. No matter what, there are going to be things to do to take them. It's not like there's one restaurant to go to. It's not like there's one movie theater. There's a ton of staples here, and people can kind of keep themselves busy. But it gives them a reason to visit you in New York City because they're coming to an iconic city, and you just happen to be there. So you're going to see a lot more people that you know, or like family coming in that may or may not have visited you otherwise. So there's that. But also, I'm the worst person when it comes to dinner recommendations. Like if people come and visit me, I say like, let's just walk around and find somewhere. 9 out of 10 times it doesn't really work out because you do need reservations, and I'm learning that the hard way every single time. But I don't really go out to dinner that much, or I didn't, at least before, when more people were visiting me before the pandemic. I was working all the time. I wasn't going out to dinner, so I didn't know any good places to take people. So just because you live in New York City does not mean you've been to every tourist point, to every restaurant, to every bar, that you know everything. It just means that you live here. The next thing is that you can eat for really cheap. I'm not saying it's like the healthiest food, but if you're hungry and you have $1, you can get a piece of pizza. You can get a banana for 25 cents. Bodega coffee is always an option, but we always pass it up for some like special freaking latte, which you don't have to do. Bodega coffee is good, especially in the morning. If you get it kind of like later in the day, it's been sitting there all day. It's still hot, but like it's not as good, but it's so freaking cheap, like $1 for a coffee, maybe $2. But that really beats like the $7 or $8 for one latte at Starbucks or whatever. We should all not go to Starbucks anyways. We should be going to like small business mom and pop coffee shops anyways. Way better coffee. Let me know if you want me to make a video on my favorite coffee shops in New York. I just had that idea right now. Wow. But also, I freaking love the bodega sandwiches here. And the further uptown you go, the cheaper they get. And honestly, in my opinion, the better quality. My favorite bodega sandwich was when I was living in Inwood on 204th Street on the west side. Best sandwich ever. And that shit was like $5 max. $5 max. Okay, another thing I love about living in New York is that whenever anybody says, I love New York, it's for a different reason. And I guess you could say that about any city, but when someone says, I love New York, it could be like they love it because of what the city's offering them, give them opportunities to make money to send to their families back home in a country where the American dollar is a lot stronger. People could say, I love New York City because the community sports, like the basketball courts are always full, you can always meet people. Everyone's reason is different. And the city offers people different things depending on what people are looking for and what they're open to receiving. I think that's really cool. And that ties into my next point, that everyone's got a different story. And I love asking people that who live here, like, how did you end up here? Why did you choose New York? Because it's such like a iconic place to live, trying to fulfill a dream of just saying they had lived here at some point in their life, or someone's going to school, or someone got a job here, or just for no reason at all they could just come here like I did. You can really learn a lot about a person by asking how and why they came here. If you like the study of people, this is an amazing place to live. Another one of my favorite things about living in New York is that you can make money in so many different ways. Like, you could be a stripper who babysits during the day. Could be a YouTuber who is a club promoter at night, you know what I mean? Or like someone who works a corporate 9 to 5 and then does Grubhub on the weekends, you know? There are so many different ways to make money. If you want to hustle, if you want to grind, you can. And if you don't, you don't have to. We shall not glorify hustle culture anymore. Not after that pandemic. Hell no. Our time is precious here on this earth. We will not waste it doing things that we don't like. We will spend as little time as possible doing things we have to do to survive, and then prioritize better so that way we can still have a life and still grow and still have time to ourselves and our friends and family. That's a whole different topic for a whole different video. Next favorite part is the food options. You just name a type of food, we got it. People who live here take that shit for granted because you can just, if you're craving something, or order Seamless, but not every city's like that. So I think that's cool about living here. Right now I am actually waiting for a Seamless delivery because I just go home from work and I'm out of food. So I ordered pad thai with extra peanut sauce and spring rolls. I'm not mad about it. The next one of my favorite parts of living here is that you can find quiet places to be in the city, but not even in the city too. Like, if you want somewhere quiet to be or spend time, there are places for you that are accessible to people without a car. Granted, it's so much easier with a car. I like that you can have a little bit of both because I thrive on that kind of balance between crazy, hectic, chaotic, vibrant, energetic New York City and like really needing to tone it down. Like, can I just like not hear sirens for 2 seconds? The last favorite thing that I can think of right now, there's probably many more, is that you can really grow at an expedited rate by living here. I think because you just get thrust into so many different challenges much more often than I think you would living anywhere else, or like if you're not living in a city. I think all major cities do this. You're just tested a lot. You're around more people. There's more reasons why things could go really badly or why things might work in your favor more often. And both of those scenarios can make it so you really just grow as a person, like double the speed. I know in my first year here, I definitely grew so much because it was like a crap year. If you want to know more about that, I'll link a video so you can hear that story. But while it's made me question myself and who I am, I think that would have happened at a later point anyways, and might as well just like have it all happen all at once. It really helps you find like who you are and what you want, what your priorities are. If you experience more, then you grow more. My rule of thumb is that if you're not having a meltdown in a New York City park at some point, then you're not doing it right. Then you're not pushing yourself enough. Then you really, need to take self-accountability and push yourself. But when you've made it here, you've really made it. It means that you really push through some hard shit. And the challenges never stop. I think you just get better at handling those challenges. And so eventually you just get used to the chaos of New York City. You find out sooner or later if you love that or if you hate that. And if you love that, stay. And if you don't, you don't have to stay. I think that's it. If you like this video, you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up or share it with anybody you know who's going to live here. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I post. I'm really trying. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.